And welcome to Nationwide. I am Dennis Adigunlu. Thanks for joining us. We are a little bit behind schedule. This was due to the live transmission of the flag off of schools in the FCT. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris has called on state governors to support the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu in ensuring that dividends of democracy get to the grassroots. The minister stated this during a courtesy visit to Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi at the Government House in Dutse. Ibrahim Sani reports.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris said he was in the state to interact and engage with citizens of the state on what President Tinubu's administration is doing to make life better for all Nigerians. He appealed to Nigerians to be patient and have faith that the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu has certainly done positive results. The minister commended the Jigawa State Governor on his diligence and hard work in the agricultural sector, noting that Jigawa State is central to the federal government's food security agenda.
Today, Jigawa State is a leading light. It's showing the way to the entire country, the way to go in terms of agricultural production. And this, of course, is happening because of the kind of effort, commitment, focus, dedication, determination, consistency, honesty, sincerity of purpose that His Excellency, the Executive Governor, has put in place.
Governor Umar Namadi said Jigawa State is #1 in the country in wheat, sesame, gum arabic, and hibiscus production, and it is on that note the government integrated all the policies of President Tinubu renewed hope agenda into his 12 points agenda in the state.
In Jigawa State, we are committed to support Mr. President to achieve food security in Nigeria. We have a land mass of almost 22,000 square meters. And out of that, 80% of that land is arable land. And out of that, about 400,000 hectares are Padama land that you can grow food year in, year out. Honorable Minister, as at today, only about 50% of that land is under cultivation.
In a related development, the Minister of Information and National Orientation was at the palace of Emir of Dutse Hamim Nuhu Sanusi, where he solicited the royal father's support in sensitizing the people on government's policies and programs aimed at bringing succor to the people. The Emir of Dutse Hamim Nuhu Sanusi called on the minister and processors under him to do more to sensitize Nigerians to be patriotic citizens. From Dutse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has emphasized that the removal of subsidy from petrol is a blessing to Nigerians in view of the numerous ongoing programs towards improving the country's economy. At a forum with media executives and practitioners in Kano, the minister gave account of stewardship of the post-subsidy programs of the federal government. Salihu Guanara reports.
This is in continuation of his engagement with relevant stakeholders in the media industry. And in the spirit of fasting in this month of Ramadan, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, hosted these media chiefs in northern Nigeria to break fast and as well share with them the reason behind some government policy decisions and the country's success story to stability.
It is the desire of President Bola Tinubu to ensure that the refineries that taxpayers have collectively put down so that we can have subsidy and keep our foreign exchange for other uses. Now, in a few weeks' time, we are told that the Port Harcourt refinery, for example, is already to be test run and it is returning to active production. So, in a matter of time, you will see all our refineries come back to work.
He is confident that President Bola Tinubu will remain consistent in his policies of leading the country to prosperity in line with his 8 priority areas of focus.
All of us come together to ensure that this society is being rid of criminal elements.
There were words of assurances from the media for a sustained partnership between them and the government towards building on the gains being recorded in renewing the hope of Nigerians. Highlight was the unveiling of the mobilizer application developed by the National Orientation Agency.
Congratulations.
In Kano, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Let's shift focus now to legislative matters. The 10th National Assembly is assuring Nigerians that political influence will not be considered in the provisions of road infrastructure in the country. This was the position of the House of Representatives Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FERMA, during an oversight visit to Kano. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
This is the first engagement between House Committee on FEMA and Federal Roads Maintenance Agency engineers from Northwest Zone 1 and 2 on the situation of critical roads in the region. Federal Roads Maintenance engineers brief committee members on the successes recorded and shortfalls of the agency in executing its mandate.
We are pretty sure with this visit, as usual, that it will again bring the envisaged succor, happiness, and progress to the agency you supervise and to all road users in general in Nigeria.
You are telling us that you have appropriated money for road projects. Let this money be implemented on roads.
While in Kano, the committee inspected some of the rehabilitated roads in Gandu and Gigenyu areas, where the chairman expressed satisfaction that the present administration is determined towards achieving zero potholes.
If all the zones could be delivering quality road like this particular one that I'm inspecting, I think I am proud to be here.
The Northwest Zone 1 and 2 comprise of Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Sokoto states. From Kano, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Basic Education and Services has embarked on an oversight visit to the Digital Resource Centre of the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC. The centre, established as a digital innovation hub for UBEC to serve as a centre of cutting-edge innovation in basic education service delivery, was a groundbreaking research and capacity development for teachers and education managers, with efforts on to increase the budgetary allocation from 2 to 4%.
It will go a long way in achieving more than what it has achieved.
This facility is expected and has already started making sure that our teachers are trained on the new pedagogies. We have brought so many teachers, even so far, school administrators, quality assurance officers, to understand first and foremost what is digital learning.
The committee says the goal is to redefine and reposition basic education in the country. And following a public hearing on the NAFDAC ban on alcohol in sachets and PET bottles, Chairman of the House Committee on Food and Drugs Administration and Control, Regina Akume, is appealing to NAFDAC to be guided by public demand on the matter. At a media briefing after the public hearing, the committee expressed concern that the ban contradicts constitutional provisions and undermines the economic recovery plan of the current administration, citing potential job losses and economic hardships. Recommendations proposed include the lifting of the ban and the implementation of regulations to ensure compliance.
The economy is struggling, unemployment rate is staggering, and the inflation rate is soaring, while the poverty level is on the increase with paucity of forex to do business. They should be placed with prescribed regulation and access controls such as establishment of licensed liquor stores, stroke outlet in LGAs across the country. Making it unlawful to send underage person to purchase alcoholic beverages. Tightening enforcement by law enforcement agencies. increased monitoring and compliance checks by the NAFDAC, FCCPC, and others to ensure strict product quality in terms of content and safety. Conclusion. All the recommendations and prayers of this committee were adopted.
Regina Akume, the Chairman, House Committee on Food and Drugs Administration and Control. Away from legislative matters, normalcy has returned to Asaba, the Delta State capital, after the clash between traffic officers and commercial motorcyclists known as Okada. Tessie Coker was at the market's axis where the incident started.
It was an unusual scenario in Asaba, the Delta State capital, as citizens woke up with the news of a clash between the commercial motorcyclists and traffic officers around the Anioma and Obosisi markets that resulted to the loss of lives and property. The State Commissioner of Police, the Secretary to the State Government, visited the area to appraise the level of damage and restore peace, law and order, as security operatives were already drafted to the area.
We employ all those who live within this area of responsibility to please go about their lawful business. The government and the police and other security services are guaranteeing your safety.
The security agencies have been working assiduously to make sure that Asaba retains its calmness and peacefulness.
After days of fear and uncertainty, normalcy has returned, and citizens already seen going about their duties.
I've never experienced that kind of a thing before. I believe that the situation has started coming down now. So, but we are still pleading to governments to help us and resolve the issue.
Our visit to the market saw the traders committing their day's activity to God in prayer. The scantiness of the market, as at the time of our visit, is as a result of the observation of the weekly sanitation exercise.
The atmosphere is calm. There is a peace.
The government have to come to the aid of the masses. That is the truth.
However, some citizens urge other Deltans to continue to maintain the existing peace, as they want government to provide the needed security for citizens in order to prevent future occurrence. In Asaba, Tessie Coker, NTA News.
And we now join Tessie Coker live from Asaba to bring us up to speed on happenings there. Hello, Tessie.
Hello, Dennis. It's good. Thank you for having me. Well, I'm here at the CP office, the State Commissioner of Police, Olufemi Abanuwanda. Yes, earlier in the day, Dennis, I would like to tell you that I visited that market, and what you saw in that report was actually what happened at that time. But before we came here, we actually branched off to see the situation for ourselves. And of course, Dennis, before I go into all of that, Asaba has been a peaceful place, and citizens have, when it happened that on Monday, we were all terrified. I say Asaba, but people said, no, it can't be Asaba, it's not happening in Asaba, but we saw it live. But of course, because of the presence of security operatives, it was calm, and everybody were going about their normal duties. Even today, I could go to the office, without fear, because as at day before yesterday, Dennis, I must say that I was terrified. I had to park my car, and I was peeping, looking at my left, right, center before approaching the office. But of course, as it is now, the place is calm, and everybody is happy that peace has returned. And Dennis, to go further, we have the Commissioner of Police here with me. He's going to throw more light on the happenings, and also to assure Deltans that Delta is a peaceful place, and we're going to, be peaceful all through. So please go ahead, tell us how.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Nigerians. The unfortunate incident that happened on Monday had happened when hoodlums who attack some of their areas. However, the situation has been brought under control, absolute peace had returned, and we are now back to normal. Everything is running smoothly. Every law-abiding citizen is going about their lawful business, and businesses are thriving in Asaba as we speak.
Okay, so CP, we were at the market this morning, and some of them were saying that even in the evenings, that in the evenings, the bike are always stopped by 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. And that for now, before 7, there's no bike again to take them to their various places. So what do you have to say about that?
You know, there is a government directive banning the use of keke or okada as a means of transportation after 7 p.m. in view of the security situation and the use to which these bikes are put to. Citizens are advised to look for alternative means of transportation after these hours. These kekes and okadas are being used to convey and to ferry those who disturb the peace of the environment. That is why the state government came up with this innovative and directive to ensure that the security of our citizens is guaranteed. This is being enforced. The leadership of the Kekena people was met, and Okada was met with in my office this afternoon, and they have reassured us that they will abide and live by these rules.
Thank you very much, Commissioner of Police. That's it from here, Dennis.
All right, Tessie, many thanks for giving us that update, and it's good to hear that things are back to normal or relatively peaceful there in Delta State. Thank you. Now, the contrary to reports that due process was not followed in the mass metering project of military formations across the country, the federal government says the intervention of President Bola Tinubu should be commended for recovering funds meant for mass metering project, which has been abandoned for 20 years. A statement from the office of the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, says that the present administration discovered funds that were released to a company in 2003 for the supply of 3 million meters, yet the project did not take off. Worried by the electricity debts incurred by the Nigerian army, President Tinubu directed the Ministry of Power to look into the matter. With a more than 8 million meter gap in the country and the liquidity crisis in the sector, the Ministry of Power wonders how money meant for a national project could be held up untouched for more than 20 years by an individual. Following intervention of President Tinubu, the fund is being refunded with accrued interest to a new company that has commenced implementation of the metering project in military formations nationwide. He advises stakeholders to seek clarifications on issues before misleading members of the public. Now, the transportation sector in Nigeria is expected to experience complete transformation with the validation of the land transportation policy. Minister of Transportation Said Al-Khali, speaking at a stakeholders engagement session, says the policy will engender efficient, sustainable and inclusive land transport system for Nigeria. Vivian Izadife reports.
1986, efforts have been on to formulate a national land transport policy for Nigeria in recognition of the critical role that transportation plays in the economic and social development of the nation. That dream is about to see the light of day, with key players in the transport sector validating the draft policy. It's a development that the Minister of Transportation, Said Al-Khali, says will activate seamless movement of goods and people while stimulating national development.
I must emphasize that the National Land Transport Policy will not in any way deter the finalization of the national policy, but it aims to develop a vibrant transportation system that will reduce congestion, improve connectivity in both rural and urban areas, and foster a sustainable and inclusive transportation system.
Other sector players are optimistic that the policy will serve as a guideline for administering the transportation sector of the economy and bring about professionalism.
The policy will also promote cost-effective availability of transport infrastructure and services that are safe and environmentally friendly.
The passage of this policy is just the first step. Implementation is another task.
This is the beginning of professionalism in the transportation sector.
The National Land Transport Policy embraces technology and innovation, which will modernize the sector. In Abuja, Vivian Izadife, NTA News.
It's now time to join Hingano John Adams in our Lagos Network Centre. Hello, Hingano.
To add value and improve operational readiness of the Nigerian Navy through training, the Western Naval Command in Lagos has flagged off an exercise called Swift Response on the nation's maritime corridor. Larry Belei, who was at the flagging off ceremony, reports.
The Nigerian Navy Western Naval Command monitors one of the busiest shipping routes within the nation's maritime environment, in which the strategic location makes it prone to accidents and mishaps. This is what informed the exercise to provide effective maritime search and rescue deployment suitable for naval assets equipped with disaster management capabilities on the sea.
We are exercising our ships in communication, gunnery, fleet maneuvers, and many other things. But most importantly, today we are rehearsing and testing out new tactics in triangulating and zeroing in on rogue vessels at sea.
The exercise will give ships in the Western Naval Command fleet the opportunity to test their capabilities in rescue missions.
Hereby flag off this exercise, Swift Response of the Western Naval Command.
The Navy revealed the exercise will be in conjunction with the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA patrol vessels. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
The United States of America, through Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York and the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, have signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the Cultural Property Agreement implementation and grant programs of $95,000 titled Preserving Nigeria's Heritage. Bolaji Akim reports that U.S. Assistant Secretary for the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs signed on behalf of the American government.
Proper documentation and cultural preservation is a major step towards narrating historical background of any race and formation of effective cultural policies that will not only guarantee security but drive and strengthen nations' unity. Considering this, the National Commission for Museums and Monuments sought collaboration with other agencies outside the country towards preservation and development of Nigeria's cultural heritage. This led to the signing of Cultural Property Implementation Act between Nigeria and USA in 2022. This collaboration between both countries has been on a steady growth.
This is yet another step to collaboration and working together to preserve and protect cultural heritage. It's such an important part of the fabric of this country, and it tells the story of this country and the people.
The new Memorandum of Understanding and grants underscores United States government support for the preservation of Nigeria's rich cultural heritage using different partnership mechanisms.
After this week of training, other people are still coming from the Metropolitan Museum to train further. And it's not involving just Lagos State Museum. We are bringing other outlets.
And then when you look at our the way we save out the information and details of these collections, it is kind of not really kind of working, because they are already stored in paper, and these papers are fading away. And when the paper is faded away, the informations are being lost. With the Met in Nigeria, I know we have started.
Part of the MOU covers creating digital inventory of collections at the National Museum in Lagos. Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues in
Welcome to Port Harcourt. Akwa Ibom State Governor Omo Eno is cautioning stakeholders to desist from placing unnecessary demands on contractors executing projects in their areas. This was at the flag-off of the construction of 8.6 kilometers Etinam Abak Ekot Ekang and the 7.9 kilometers dual carriage ring road 3 extension where the governor also notes that the government will not condone any acts capable of jeopardizing the quality of projects. Kelvin Samuel reports.
These road projects are part of the 18 economically viable roads to be constructed by the Moenos administration across the state to stand it out as the state with best road network in the country. Having flagged up roads in Eket and Ikorekwene, this is a turn of Uyo senatorial district, and these roads are at the heart of the stakeholders as it will not only open up the areas but serve as connection to some major government investments, including low-cost housing estate, Takada Skilled Acquisition Center, among others.
Railroad 3, from here, Idoro Road to Ikorekwene Road, is the completion of the master plan.
This road has been here for the past 40 years. And today, you graciously award this road.
Performing the flag off, Governor Eno restated his determination to extend life-touching projects across the state. He charges the people to cooperate with government by creating an atmosphere of peace under which development will thrive.
We'll continue to do roads, we'll continue to do other projects, but let this first phase take off properly and let us see the progress. Our monitoring and evaluation team will continue to go around and see the progress of the roads. Let me warn very quickly that I will not hesitate to terminate any contract that is not optimally performed.
The roads on completion will link the 6 local government areas in the Uyo senatorial districts. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
To health now. World Down Syndrome Day is observed annually on March 21 to raise awareness about the genetic condition and promote acceptance and inclusion of individuals living with the syndrome. In Nigeria, the day is an opportunity to highlight the challenges faced by people with Down syndrome and their families, as well as advocate for their rights and well-being. Ifoma Omesa reports that the theme for this year's celebration is End the Stereotypes.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition that occurs when a person has a full or partial extra copy of chromosome 21. This additional genetic material can cause developmental delays and intellectual disability. It presents with physical features such as flattened facial profile, small head size, and upward slanting eyes. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), Down syndrome affects approximately 1 in 1,000 live births worldwide. However, despite efforts by the governments and non-governmental organizations to improve the lives of people with Down syndrome, they still face numerous challenges. These include discrimination, stigmatization, lack of access to education, health care, employment, and other basic human rights.
For a baby who is going to be born with a condition called Down syndrome, during the pairing process of the male reproductive cell with the female reproductive cell, on the 21st pairing, an extra chromosome just springs up. It's something that can happen spontaneously, not for what the mother did or the father did.
According to experts, people living with Down syndrome are at higher risk of health conditions such as congenital heart defects, hearing loss, poor vision, chronic constipation, and obesity.
There are chromosomal aberrations during embryo formation. Those children learn slowly, so special care is being given to them.
People with Down syndrome deserve to live a healthy and fulfilling life as captured in the theme of this year's commemoration, End the Stereotypes. In Port Harcourt, Ifoma Omesa, NTA News.
And that's our beats from here. It's back to you in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Doris. We're now talking environmental matters as stakeholders, including government agencies and community groups, are increasingly taking proactive measures to prevent flooding and other environmental challenges affecting the socio-economic development of Jigawa State. This is coming as the coordinating team of a program, Agroclimatic and Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape, embark on a sensitization tour to flood-ridden communities, aimed at effectively implementing strategies designed to mitigate the impact of flooding and other environmental disasters in the state. Ibrahim Sani has more.
Records show that flooding, desertification and erosion have remained a source of concern to people and government of Jigawa State, owing to how badly the challenge affects the socio-economic development of people in the state. To address these unfriendly environmental issues, the federal government, through a project Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape, are partnering with relevant stakeholders to reach Jigawa State against these problems. Achieving the objectives of these projects, according to experts, are realizable through community engagements to understand the socio-economic impact of these challenges with a view to fine-tuning workable solutions to address them. During one of the advocacy visits to traditional leaders in Duse and Debi Ringim local government, the coordinating team told traditional leaders and communities that with collaborative approach, initiatives under the project such as reforestation, sustainable land management practices, as well as early warning systems on flooding can be implemented effectively.
Here to highlight them, our activities for involvement of these challenges that is facing the Bee and the entire state in general. The main challenge is the flooding caused by these waterways from all the way from Kano, here Jigawa, down to Yobe.
This is an entry point to the project areas. That's the reason why we visited the chairman. We seek for his support to know where all this climate change problem lies in his community, because it's a project that is demand driven. So we want to know how the project can support the communities.
All maximum cooperation you need here. The people of Debi and its neighboring area will support you and give it to you.
19 northern states are selected to benefit from the intervention under the Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape supported by the World Bank. In Duse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
And Ibrahim joined us live from Duse to give us more highlights on what informed stakeholders' advocacy visit to traditional leaders. Hello, Ibrahim. Just to give us the latest from where you are.
Dennis, Jigawa State has a terrible experience with flooding because being a semi-arid state, when it rains, the rainwater comes with intensity, thereby resulting into flooding. When this happens, it affects, or rather leave negative consequences on the economy, health, agriculture, sometimes even destroyed homes, injured others, also some lost their lives to these problems. Understanding this problem, the federal government and the Jigawa State government, through a program, the Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape, come up with an initiative to mitigate the reoccurrence of this problem. Achieving these objectives, they say, is realizable when communities are involved, to understand the impact of this problem so that they can take ownership of part of the strategies designed or rather implemented to achieve the desired goals.
Well, Ibrahim, for that update. Thank you. Let's now join Charles Abba in our Makodi Network Center. Hello, Charles.
A news and warm welcome to Makudi. The Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Talia, has called for sustained synergy between the traditional institution and the state government to ensure peace and development. This was the fallout of the high-profile meeting of the governor and royal fathers of the Chiefs extraction held at the Tortillas Palace in Boko. Elias Sitia reports.
And earlier indicated that the meeting with the traditional rulers within the chiefdom provides opportunity for him to present his scorecard and challenges since assumption of office, as well as to seek their royal support. The governor maintained that Benue State, which is a hub of food production, needs peace to pave way for security of lives and property, as well as productive ventures. He decried the attacks on farming communities by bandits and attendant displacements of natives. He therefore called on residents of the state to remain committed to hard work for which they are known for.
We need to get back to those bases
the need for a moral threshold for all of us to understand the various roles we need to play so that everyone is comfortable, there's much productivity on the land, and our homes are also protected.
Paramount ruler of the Chi Nation, Professor James Ayase, who applauded the governor for his commitment to good governance, assured him of unreserved support of the traditional institution.
And we also counseled and assured him of our support for his government and our availability to support, to partner with him to ensure that the much needed peace and development returns to Benue.
The royal fathers also prayed for more wisdom for the governor to continue to deliver on his mandate. From Boko local government area, Elias Etiaf, NTA News.
Away from the issue of peace to tourism, where the Federal Ministry of Tourism has trained and given starter packs to 25 participants who are mostly young women at the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Nihotoa, North Central Zonal Campus in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejon, explained that it is a demonstration of the present administration's commitment to empower women for economic development. Here are the details. National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Nihotoa, is a parastatal of the Ministry of Tourism, which has the mandate of training, certifying, and registering all personnel in all sectors of tourism in Nigeria. The maiden edition of Women and Youth Training and Empowerment Program, titled Ecogenesis Incubator, is introduced by the Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejon. It's a 2-day program with emphasis on production of tourism souvenirs and rhinestone embellishment. Apart from issuance of certificates to the trainees by the Institute, they also smite home with starter packs.
It has shown me a way of how to make money without having a white-collar job. After I finish with the training, I'll go on and make it at home so that I'll be able to make more money out of it.
Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejon, who acknowledged the current economic realities, affirmed that the training has a multiplier effects of reducing restiveness and vices.
Security is also fostered by joblessness. So rather than we going into the urban areas, the people from the urban areas, when they come to the communities, they have things that they can buy. That makes sense.
By the time you introduce the youth into career of their interest, you definitely will see changes.
The government has set up a committee under my ministry to ensure that we publicize this school for those who don't even know that something exists here like this to know and come and join the school so that it will be better for them tomorrow.
In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News. And that report runs off our contribution from Makurdi.
To Jos. Plateau State government is emphasizing the need for responsible mining to enable stakeholders in the sector improve their economic base. This was at the 59th Annual International Conference and Exhibition by the Nigerian Mining and Geosciences Society in Jos. Ijoma Ozemina reports.
Gathered here are mining experts and miners who came together to chart the way forward for the sector with the theme Emerging Global Perspectives, Trends and Sustainable Development of Minerals and Energy Resources. Governor Caleb Mutfwang emphasized the need for responsible mining where the state and its people will benefit from the resources, while expressing concern how secretive mining activities are usually carried out without reliable data. The governor called for the diversification of the economy as he informed the participants that Plateau State is focusing on energy generation and 2 bills have been signed into law in that regard.
We are raising the bar in terms of providing the enabling environment for the private sector to properly lead development. And it will be a golden opportunity for you to invest on the plateau.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, represented by Simon Nkom, charged the participants to improve their skills and knowledge on mining so that they can remain relevant in the sector.
I therefore urge the NMGS to engage in enlightenment
at secondary schools level to initiate contests and activities that will make many youths see the advantages, pursue careers in mining and geosciences.
Have so many people exploring without doing anything to the community. And that is further impoverishing the community. So my plea is that we look into that.
In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. It's back to Dennis in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Bill Kisu. Let's now head over to sports updates with Bade Adeleye.
Nigeria's Super Eagles have declared their upcoming friendly matches against the Black Stars of Ghana and Eagles of Mali must-win encounters. Nigeria and Ghana will renew football rivalry on Friday in Marrakesh before facing Mali on Tuesday in the same Moroccan city where they have been training. Nigeria will be missing the services of some key players, including Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Awoniyi, who pulled out of the games due to injury, alongside Gabriel Osho and Tyrone Ebuehi.
We're all prepared. We're focused on the game. I mean, it's not a football. It's not a game of fights. It's a sport. So, I mean, we just go in there and just play football.
Of course, it's like another rivalry against one of a nation that's close to us. So, we'll give our full 100% to try and get the result we want.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria under-20 women's football team will go up against Ghana on Thursday in the championship match of the women's football event at the 13th African Games in Ghana. The Falconets secured their spot in the final by defeating Uganda 2-0 in the semi-final on Monday. Still on the African Games, Nigeria lost 29-20 to Democratic Republic of Congo at the semi-final of the handball event. The Golden Arrows were hoping to win and make history, but faced a disciplined and strong defensive DR Congo team. Nigeria and Benin Republic will now meet in the third-place match on Friday. Away from the African Games, Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, the Tigress, have been placed in what has been termed a difficult group for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Wednesday's draw pitted the Tigress against Canada, Australia and host France in Group B, with the African champions to begin their campaign against Australia on July the 29th. With Sports Update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
Well, that concludes Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.